but curiosity strikes. What new content does the deluxe edition truly offer?
New content?
Apparently.
What does that mean, new content?
Well, you should know. Hold on. Is there... This originally was door 416. It was an office, but we never could see the inside of the office. I call shenanigans. I definitely call shenanigans if 416 is right here. What new content have we got? Where are we going? We're going to new content, but... Okay, this is weird.
And thank you for playing The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, The Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful.
It does.
I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
But it's one thing for me not to know, it's another for you not to know. You're the bloody narrator.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet.
Yeah, we've seen several of these.
It's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Surely. Right? Is there a button?
Is it broken? What's going on here?
There's no buttons.
Should we be moving somewhere? Or,
oh, there we go.
All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content.
Yes.
I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
Yes, let's do it. The new content could use some elevator music.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if them... Oh,
there we go.
Let's see the content.
Yeah.
Give me the content, Stanley.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. What new content do we have?
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle?
Yeah. This almost feels like a scam, like some Willy Wonka experience that's not exactly as advertised. Why is it jumps remaining? Can we jump? Oh my god, we can jump. You can Why would you have a jump circle with limited amount of jumps? Can we jump out of the... Can I... Why? Okay, it's an improvement. I have been asking for the ability to jump. I'm surprised there is the ability to jump. Can we reset it?
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new
Surely
content.
not.
There has to be something else, right?
Why is the amount of jumps limited? I mean, it's fun, but I don't want to spend all my jumps. Let's leave some for later. Honestly, this place just feels empty. Is there more new content?
Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, Initial impressions of this game are not positive.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just elevators and jumping.
Limited jumping.
Is this what passes for exciting new content?
Now, if you
This
could
is
jump
new
all
content,
over the game.
then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Well, me too, but at the same time, can I just go out of the elevator to go back in? I mean, because it's an option? No, not an option. But I gotta say, you reading the dictionary, sure, it would get boring eventually, but you have got that soothing, lovely voice, so maybe that would actually not be all that bad. Maybe you'd learn something in the meantime. This honestly just feels like a trap. Thank you for enjoying the new content. The new content is just a few rooms, 2 elevators, and a jump circle.
That's it?
Surely not.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore."
Wait,
Quality assurance
actually?
department signed off on this. I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid.
Well, I did
could
too.
never have lived up to such expectations.
That's also
if
true.
If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always.
Well, can we have a jump circle around the game? Like, if we have a jump circle around the game, then it means you can jump in the game, right? What did you do? Narrator, what? What's going on?
Stanley, come over here. In the vent.
You're in my head.
I want to show you something.
Why are you whispering to me when you're in my head? I want to see. I'm definitely not going to go over there. Why are you whispering? As if you're in the vent. You are not in the vent. Coffee nuts? Okay. This feels highly unsafe, good sir. You're not gonna make me die again, are you?
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well,
yeah.
It got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be.
Oh, we had a good time.
So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
Okay, sure. I mean, there's not much to see, but... what have you been hiding away then? Also, these air vents are... quite clean. Narrator, I love your style. Little medieval-like. Oh, I'm liking this already.
I call it the memory zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want.
Well, that's nice.
Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Hey, you're gonna relive that? You made your very own personal museum. Don't forget.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the memory zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
This is nice. 2013 when the Stanley Parable was released. I played it like 1.5 years or 2 years after that, I think. Huh. Collector's edition. This is nice. Into a monthly time. Okay. What about this? Audience Award, Stanley Parable, 2014 Independent Games Festival. Huh. The BAFTA award. Okay. Not for The Last of Us, but no, the Stanley Parable. Oh my god. Good times. Good times. Ah. First Kiss, my first card, the release of the Stanley Parable in 2013. Oh god. Ah. This is lovely. Memory zone temporarily. You had a memory zone back then? God. What's everyone saying? Huh. The original remake. Wait. The original... Oh. Hold on. Was the original game actually already a remake? To make it better? Or make it look better? Can't remember the details. Still. This is honestly rather lovely. The Stanley Parable alpha test. Smile because it happened. I'm happy that the Stanley Parable happened. The Stanley Parable is just a wonderful game, and sometimes you really gotta be happy that that kind of stuff even happened in the first place. Trip down memory lane. Is that the first dollar that you earned? If that's true, that would be lovely. Stanley Parable demonstration? Was it demo even? Oh god, not that achievement. Honestly, don't play for 5 years. Do your achievement actually unlock if you don't play a game? Like, or do they only get unlocked if you actually boot up the game again? Because that achievement, don't play for 5 years. Of course, people would cheat that achievement in by maybe setting the clock 5 years forward, but unachievable. It's impossible to get this achievement. Was it? I know the Stanley Parable was weird at times with stuff like this, but was this actually a thing? I have never been one to chase achievements, but it's just silly in a good way. The British Academy of Film and Television Arts, BAFTA nominee. Awesome. 2014. Wait, March. You got nominated multiple times. Game Innovation, Debut Game, Story. And you didn't actually win. Well, that's fair, I guess. I mean, The Last of Us is supposed to be pretty good, so... New video game releasing today. Creates surprisingly down to earth. Now I actually wonder if these are actually the newspaper from that time. I wouldn't be surprised if it actually was. Los Angeles Times. Stanley Parable deals tough choices. Lovely stuff. Honestly, a wonderful trip down memory lane. Loving memory, little Stanley. Aw, it's the hamster. Aww. Well, in loving memory for sure. This is honestly really heartfelt. Like, memory zone indeed. But no, the pure idea of, okay, Sure, you have got some games re-releasing over and over at times, like how many versions of Skyrim are there that didn't actually really change anything at all except for some graphics? At the same time, there's so many games where we want sequel after sequel, we want more and more and more and more, but at the same time, it also means that we really enjoyed the original. Sure, we would always want more new content, but it's honestly... I'm being thrown off by the music right now. No, this game is absolutely amazing.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this
decay.
stunning triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created.
Well, that's a bit over the
how
top.
Grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim. It was Persona 3. It was all of them. And now, it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Okay, that's honestly sounds rather sad, but at the same time, also at this point in time, rather true. The new content has involved elevators. Okay. I mean, it did deserve a very high score for the original. Huh. But then what is it now? The portal ending, or it was the confusion ending, right? I think. Yeah. Pathway going down. The Minecraft. Again, the Minecraft and then followed by the portal. It was genius. To now be surprised with Firewatch and then Rocket League. Pretty fun as well. Let's begin again. The original remake again. Person of the time. Or person of the year, not the time. Okay. I know nothing about game development. What about this door? Maintenance zone. Okay. The end is never the end, it's never the end, it's never the end, it's never the end, it's never the end. It just keeps on going. And seriously, this place is really rather heartfelt. The greatest wealth is memory. True. Is that a tie? Was there a Stanley Parable tie? I don't remember that one. Your number is 29. Preparing snake oil salesman roundup? Weird.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
Well, it is beloved for sure. And also, yes, going the wrong way has never felt so right. Indeed. Source kit. People play games because what they can do inside them. And your game is very good at letting them know they can't do anything. Literally anything. True, everything is predetermined. The only choice people had was jumping down into the bottom of the mind control facility, and even now that's no longer a choice anymore because it is predetermined. Serious room. Okay. Where do we go from here? Do we just go back?
These were simpler times, Stanley.
Maybe.
But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again.
Is that why people create sequels? Because they want to have it all over again.
Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before.
It's maintenance.
What's this? What's down here?
Well, you created it. If you maintain it, then how do you not know the maintenance zone? It's the one from the lounge. You. I don't trust you.
Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor.
Okay.
I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
I'd imagine many were, but again, you're not talking about game journalists that write reviews and often are very positive about things, and game reviews are paid to review games at times. And you never know if they are truly saying what they truly mean because they get paid, and people on Steam are a lot more open-ended with also that. Not recommended. Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, well, that's a simple matter of taste, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. The individual paths themselves are also not very fun, not offering much to do throughout each path and requiring some rather tedious nonsense to get certain endings. I cannot recommend this game to anyone, even as a so bad it's good game, as you'll more than likely wind up bored by your third or fourth playthrough. Is the Stanley Parable it's raining. The Stanley Parable is the type of game that you can theoretically only play once because it is a brand new experience.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Well, yeah, where would you stick stuff? You would have to create a sudden new door that leads to new content in order to actually get somewhere in regards to new content. But if you try to stick it full with just stuff, just because some people didn't like it, not everyone will like every single piece of content that is made. Like, I assume that many people will not like me as a content creator in regards to me just playing video games and commentating on everything. You can't make everyone happy. So I guess you gotta be happy with the few that you do make happy. And try and learn from what's not recommended.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Well, I still enjoyed it, even a second time through. But also, the idea that many of the positive reviews are starting to fade. And only the negative ones stick out like sore thumbs. I guess that is kind of true as a content creator as well, from what I often hear, that people pay attention to, oh, you have a thumbs down on a video. Oh my god, that is horrible. You don't pay attention all of a sudden to the thousands of thumbs ups that you get. Like, I don't get that many thumbs up or thumbs downs in general. But I can understand how the negativity of something can then just stick out a lot. But that still means that you can't ignore all the positive. I mean, so many people did enjoy the game. Just the fact that a few, for whatever reason they have, possibly very reasonable things, it's a matter of taste. Not everyone can enjoy everything that you do. I'd certainly call this thought-provoking. We can't go in there. Where do we go? Right into the ocean. Is there no other way? That one is unreadable, I think. Yeah. Well, down to the water we go. Not
What's this one
recommended.
got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button.
Well,
A skip button.
there is a skip button at the start.
Oh, yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
But is that truly I don't want to skip your long-winded rambles. They are what make the game fun. Although a jump circle right here will be very helpful. This does not feel safe.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for,
Well, not
and I'm
all
very
players.
proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No, 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 no. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue.
But those
and
are fun
it
to
goes
listen
something
to.
like this. The story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once. So now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet. No, no, until 245.
Well, you're not making
But
much
the logic of
sense.
elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be.
No, it
it's
can't be.
the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say, the story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once. So now you see, blah blah.
Now
blah, blah,
you
blah,
see
blah,
that you're
blah,
just
blah,
repeating
blah,
on
blah, blah, blah,
purpose.
blah. We've eaten too much. And
I
it
think
can't
you
be
have
just
actually
yet.
made this a
No, no,
recording,
until
and are just placing this
245.
recording
But the logic
in
of
front of
elimination
the
working
microphone
backwards, the
and letting
deduction
it play
therefore
over and
becomes
over, because then
impossible to
people won't
manufacture.
notice that
It
you are
went on for
actually
nearly
making the same
10,000 years,
comments
until
all the
just
time, and it does
yesterday,
become
here
an
and there,
incessant
forward and
ramble,
back,
and no
never a
one will
moment
notice
before
that it
lunchtime.
actually isn't an
It can't
incessant
be.
ramble, because
It's
it keeps on
the only thing
repeating.
there is.
And at that
How
point
many
in time,
billions left
how do you
until
know
so
that something's
much more
actually
than forever
changing?
ago?
And does it
Which is
actually
why I
make you
say,
want to press a
the
skip
story
button?
and the
Is that the
choices,
main
or
goal
what have
here?
you,
That you
and
actually
therefore,
want to
by
have the
becoming it
player
is,
press the
so on
skip
and so
button
forth, until
until everything just
inevitably
blends
we all
into a
until the
mindless
end of time,
madness
at which
of
time
noise
everything all
that
at
makes
once.
no more
So, now you
sense.
see, blah 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 blah.
You want me to
We've
push
eaten
it,
too much
don't
and
you?
It can't be just yet. No, no, until
Fine, if you want me to
245.
push it,
But the
I was
logic of
willing to
elimination
listen,
working
but
backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. Oh, you're back, you see. You were
Hi.
only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes
It was
and lengthy
repeating.
ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise.
Okay.
Or maybe a manifesto.
You're gonna need to read the dictionary for me.
I'll outline it for you very briefly, and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are, or were, or will be at the time of having made said choice.
That's fair.
That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being, then by making no choice and saying nothing, are you not simply erecting in the sanctuary of time a monument to every person you've ever been, making every choice to which you've ever given your great gift of mortal and yet timeless thought? Or rather, do all of the choices you've ever made, in fact, make you more not this kind of person, and in fact do the very opposite? You see, it could in fact be both of these things at once. That you are both making choices and not making choices, and that they are both affecting you and not affecting you at the same time by virtue of the fact that you both are and are not making them.
Yeah.
Okay, at first, I was leaning towards manifesto.
But now?
I'm going to circle around and slap the treatise label on this one. I think it has much more of a treatise vibe to it.
If you say
But
so.
wouldn't you say that manifesto just has a much grander sort of tone?
It
has
does.
a mouthfeel that is rich with ambition.
Manifesto.
Ambitious history,
Treatise.
if you will. See, now you've gotten me going back to manifesto.
Manifesto
Heavens,
sounds
at this
good.
rate, we're going to be here all day. Okay, look, I have a method for exactly this sort of situation. And I do find myself in this situation frequently.
Oh, you do?
I'm going to say each word back and forth
Oh, God.
in repeated succession
Oh,
until I
God.
become sick of one or the other, in which case the word I am not sick of shall be the victor.
Really?
It is an unimpeachable strategy, Stanley.
I guess.
It's rescued me from disaster in countless situations. All right, here we go. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto.
I like manifesto.
Treatise, manifesto.
Although again, with
Treatise,
me not being a native
manifesto.
English speaker,
Treatise, manifesto.
quite
Treatise,
often words often mean
manifesto.
nothing to me. Like,
Treatise,
I have heard them
manifesto.
before, I have heard of
Treatise,
treatise before,
manifesto.
I have heard manifesto before,
Treatise,
but the exact
manifesto.
meaning behind those words,
Treatise,
I would have to actually
manifesto.
look up the meaning in a
Treatise,
dictionary, which
manifesto.
actually means
Treatise,
I'm actually gonna look up
manifesto.
those meanings. So
Treatise,
I'm going to alt tap right
manifesto.
over here. I think the
Treatise,
recording is just gonna continue,
manifesto.
everything is just fine. I'm just
Treatise,
gonna open Firefox
manifesto.
and I'm gonna look
Treatise,
up what the bloody
manifesto.
hell treatise
Treatise,
means.
manifesto.
A treatise is a
Treatise,
written
manifesto.
work dealing
Treatise,
formally and systematically with a
manifesto.
subject. I guess
Treatise,
that makes sense.
manifesto.
Now, what about
Treatise,
manifesto?
Treatise,
Manifesto
Treatise,
meaning
manifesto.
manifesto, a public
Manifesto.
declaration of
Treatise.
policy and
Manifesto.
aims, especially one issued
Treatise.
before an election by a
Manifesto.
political party or
Treatise,
candidates.
manifesto.
At least that's what Google
Treatise,
says.
Manifesto.
Honestly,
Treatise,
I am not
manifesto.
sure how much that actually helped me out. Now I'm even more
Manifesto.
confused.
Treatise,
Well, it purely goes
manifesto.
by the word of mouth and
Treatise,
how it sounds.
Manifesto. Treatise.
I'm choosing manifesto.
Treatise. Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit.
No,
didn't
no, you were just
But
repeating.
That's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review.
That I
or at
doubt.
least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first
I
place.
think they can.
I guess I should become better educated on exactly how Steam works.
Yeah, but
Perhaps
when it comes to
that would have been the
reviews,
smart thing to check on before I went about this whole exercise of making the skip button. Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, surely whoever it is runs Steam will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review, merely because of this very situation. Yes, I think that's quite likely. Or perhaps they'll simply grant this particular user the ability to change their review, so that the feature is not widely abused. Look, I would even be okay with Steam altering this particular review so that it reads as something more beneficial. Something along the lines of, this game is the best game. Let me start over. How about this? From the ashes of depravity rises
I'm sorry,
the
what?
phoenix of quality.
What? You stopped speaking. Did you break down? But no, the idea of editing Steam reviews, I think that's possible. At least at this point in time it's possible, I think. But the chance for someone to go back and actually edit their review and change it from negative to positive, many people no longer return to a game at that point in time. Like, I think I have 1 or 2 negative reviews, possibly on Minecraft Story Mode and I think Fall Guys at this point, because of the whole shift towards the Epic Game Store and being forced to use an Epic Game Store account. Well, that's still a thing. That means I'm not going to change that review because it still is the way that it is. And I don't think you can even buy Fall Guys on Steam anymore, because it's free to play. It's free to play now. Point being, people don't often go back to a review to actually change their previous review, even if the game did make massive improvements. You can't expect that of everyone. You can just hope that those who do actually look at reviews, look at how long ago was that review made, have there been made changes ever since, and how many other people are making reviews that maybe have more positive reviews because changes were made.
From the ashes of depravity rises the phoenix of quality. How else to describe the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe? Such a revolutionary step forward in the lineage of one of the most beloved video game properties of all time. The additions and changes made to this expansion will surely resonate in the annals of the history of all media ever made. It is perhaps true to say that no mistakes are forever etched in stone, for the stone into which the Stanley Parable was carved has itself been transmuted, offering a message of hope to those who have ever erred in their judgment.
Well, now you're tooting your own horn a little bit too
You may
much.
change, and you may become more, so much more than you were before. If there is any message to be taken from the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, it is this. What a fortune, a privilege, a joy it is to have had such an experience.
That I agree
It
with.
leaves me hopeful that as a community, as a world, there is time for us to become our greatest selves, as great as we ever could dream of in our wildest, most ambitious visions for a brighter future. Wow. Now, Stanley, that's a review.
It sounds like a big review, but it doesn't speak of the game itself,
It's the
the
review
gameplay.
I've always dreamed of receiving. I have to read it again.
Again?
It's simply too wonderful. I have to experience this just one more time.
I think you already
From the
experienced
ashes of
it
depravity
twice more, because
rises
the
the
previous
phoenix
time I
of
didn't
quality.
even hear it.
How else to describe the Stanley Parable?
You just
Ultra
want me to press this
Deluxe?
button by repeating
Such
your
a
own words.
revolutionary step
I'm
forward
not
in the
even
lineage
repeating my
of one
own
of the most
words.
beloved video game properties of all
The score
time.
of the Stanley
additions
Parable
and
Ultra
changes
Deluxe is
made to
going
this
down.
expansion will sure. Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer.
Wait,
That
it is?
last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's
That's a
not
lot.
unendurable by any means, but there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, I
But
know.
at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated,
Yeah.
and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait, how do we get out of here?
Where did the door go?
Where did the door go? Wasn't there a door that led into this room?
Why did the door
I
disappear?
don't feel quite certain that there was one here before.
Oh, there was one
How
here before.
else would we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort, or a window or something like that. Do you see a window anywhere? A porthole?
Nope.
A sufficiently large crack in the wall?
We do
I'll
have
take
fresh
anything,
airflow.
so all I want is for us to move on and to please step away from the skip button, to go anywhere other than the skip button. There was a door here before, wasn't
Yeah.
there? I swear there was. Where did it go?
How did it
Can you
disappear?
maybe just ram your way through a
No,
wall?
no, we'll
Is
just
there any
leave a stain on the
possibility that
wall.
you could, say, slam your body into the wall
No.
until enough damage is done for you to be able to leave?
Oh, I'm not a
Please,
doctor
I'll
breaking
take
his way
any
through a
option at all.
diamond wall.
I'm asking you to
Not
work
happening.
with me here. We need a door.
Yeah.
We need a door of some kind. I can work with any kind of door as long as it can open and lead from one room to another. I'm going to step away for just a moment, and I'm going to try to find us a door.
Well, good luck with
I
that.
don't know how exactly to remove a door and place it in a different wall, but I will find a way, I promise.
Well, you did
just
create
need to not
doors
do
before.
anything. Don't press the skip button. Please, please, please do not press the skip button.
Well, if I...
Wait here for me, and don't press the skip button.
But pressing the skip button is actually a good thing, because it skips forward time, and because you were able to go on your incessant rambles for all this time, and I was just standing here and I skipped forward to it. Well, if I press the skip button right now, then you will find a door and be able to actually place that door while I wait for you to place that door. Because I am not going to ram my head against the wall or my body and try and break through. Again, not gonna work. I have feelings too, you know. So I'm just gonna give you the time. I'm gonna let you do your thing. It is 5 past... Or, yeah, 5 past half 3. Does it actually move forward?
Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer. And
I think you implemented the feature too quickly.
Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone.
You created doors before.
From every angle, I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times, and there's no door, Stanley.
Not even a red door.
There's just you and the button,
and the pot of plants.
Keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen.
You made it.
No idea how long I'll be made to sit here, and more than anything else, I don't know how to stop you from pressing the button again. I can't control anything in this room, Stanley. I can't touch it, and I have to believe, I have to know that sooner or later, no matter how much I plead with you, you're going to press the button again. Why would you? I've been thinking and thinking, and I don't know what I can do to convince you otherwise. Oh my God. And it's all because of those reviews. Those reviews that I couldn't get out of my head. I just couldn't ignore the negative feedback.
That is difficult.
Why was it so important for me to fix the problem? Why did Cookie Nine's opinion matter so much to me? I've never even met Cookie Nine.
Because you care.
I have no idea who they are.
You still care.
What would it ever really matter? But here I am. I'm fixating on every tiny negative thing that anyone ever says about me. The merest mention of one of my imperfections, and I become as impetulant as a child. Wild and impulsive. I can't help myself.
Well, negative feedback is never fun, but it's required at times.
To alter and to change and to break anything unbroken, if only it pleases this one person who made a single negative comment.
Well, they do say don't fix what isn't broken, but...
For whose benefit is this? And here I am now, stuck in a room, waiting for you to press this button, and to become frozen in time, knowing that you're going to do it, and that I'm going to be stuck all alone, and that I had the power to prevent it all from happening, if only I'd held my tongue. It's all out of my control now. Just you. Just your decision as to exactly when you're going to make me suffer, to leave me all alone. Surely you will. I don't doubt it.
Eventually.
Surely you'll press that button again, leaving me here.
I'm gonna have to at some point.
You'll put your own desire to see what's next ahead of my need for company, for companionship.
Well, I'm
surely
here for the time being.
You'll not be moved by my howls of fitful anxiety that you sit with me and just stay here. Oh, no, no, no. I know you too well. You'll be leaving me. Oh, my God. And it's all because of those reviews.
Well, you're repeating. You're not even finishing your previous sentence.
Ignore the negative feedback.
Fine, you're asking for it. I'm sorry. I need to skip ahead to the part where you finish this ramble and actually continue. That's how this goes.
Oh, Stanley, you're back.
Oh, even the Paul Plant's gone.
Oh my goodness.
How long have I been gone?
To talk to again, Stanley. I think it's been a week.
What?
Or 2 weeks.
What?
I've been sitting here all that time, just sitting here, not a single person to speak with.
I'm so sorry.
That's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing.
Well, I don't ever say anything, yeah.
It's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me just talking? But it isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same at all. It isn't even close. Because I know you can't hear me once you push that button.
That's a horrible fate for you.
I'm realizing now, Stanley. I'm realizing that I needed to know that someone was listening. I needed there to be a vessel through which my words were moving. It was the vessel I needed, Stanley.
If no one listens,
not the story. None of that matters anymore. I'll give it all up. I'll give up every branching path. I'll burn my story to the ground. One single thing I need, and God, I can see now that I need it more than anything, is to know that someone else is taking it in. These words that I'm saying, I need to know you can hear me. Because maybe, Stanley, maybe, if you can hear me, then maybe it means I'm real. Maybe I'm not just a fiction. Was I scared of that all along? Perhaps. Yes.
This is getting deep at this point.
I've been scared this whole time that if I stop speaking, I'll slip backwards into the silence and be consumed by it. I can't be taken by it, Stanley. I can't lose myself in the stretch of emptiness between you and me. When you press that button, you're still right there, but I know you're so tremendously far away. And in those moments, the emptiness folds itself outward in between the two of us, and I am suspended in its unyielding quietness. I can feel the edges of my reality curdling inward and decaying. I can tell that I am becoming less and less real. Yet to speak to you now, I am alive. I am truly and completely here. I am a being. I am someone. I am something. I am being listened to. I am being recognized.
Yes, you are.
The emptiness between us has collapsed, and I feel right now like I am not a work of fiction. I feel as though I occupy space in this world again.
Good.
And I have cast
Yes, you
a
do.
shadow onto the wall. You see what I'm saying, don't you?
Uh-huh.
You can see what this means to me.
Yeah.
I'm so clear about it now, Stanley. I feel as certain about this as I've ever felt about anything at all. I feel renewed. I feel restored, and already I can sense the looming silence as you will press the button for the next time. What a terrible dread it strokes in my heart to think.
It is
To
inevitable.
think of returning to such coldness. Come, let us sit in silence together here for just a moment. Let us anticipate it. Let us welcome it. Let us not run from it.
Well, we could try and work towards finding a solution, because again, you have created doors in the past, like the red door that you desperately wanted me to go through. So it's not out of your options, basically. But if you are disempowered right now, how? Is it the memory zone itself? You need to get your mojo back. And I fear the only way that we can do it is by pressing this button. How long has it been? Oh my god, it's dark.
Hello, it's you.
Yes,
You're
I'm here.
Again, welcome.
Hi.
I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time.
How much?
I stopped keeping track after a year.
A
Have you
year?
ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year?
No.
Let me describe it for
It's
you.
horrible.
To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life.
Oh,
All of
boy.
them collapsed down into a single instant. In that instant, I could see myself clearly, calmly, with a collected heart. It was an impossibly rich wellspring of both delight and disgust simultaneously. I was consumed by it. I could do nothing but wallow in it for what felt like an eternity, for what I now know was far less. You see, it was a revelation for me. It was unlike anything I had ever known. It was a space without consequence, without action or outcome. It was divorced entirely from the question of free will that you and I have squabbled over for so long. There could be no one ending, no singular outcome of events, not if all events existed in the same moment. And I felt freed.
Freed?
I felt unburdened by the need to manifest a particular outcome into being. I saw that I could allow myself to exist along all timelines, and that each of them was simply a strand in the web of my being. It was incredible.
If you
The
say so.
spaciousness, the equanimity of the moment, both singular and infinite. For the longest time, this was my experience. And then this moment passed, and the most unyielding fear I have ever known crept into my mind. And it is this sensation that I have been experiencing now
Oh,
for longer
God.
than I could have ever expected was possible. I have been waiting for you. Not that you might save me or do something to fix
give
it,
you
but
purpose.
merely to state for you the plain fact of this manner of existence.
You require
I wish
purpose.
you to feel afraid as I do.
What?
That perhaps one day this state of mind will consume you as well.
And probably.
Perhaps you will somehow, in some way, have to live as I do now, and I wish for you to know how excruciating it is, and for you to be in true terror of its eventual arrival. If I can only do this, only this one thing,
Well, that's rather
perhaps it
spiteful.
will bring me the smallest moment of peace in the darkness.
You're turning into a villain. You have lived long enough for you to turn into a villain. And the silence is here. Well, I'm not liking you as a supervillain, so hopefully you will change your mind if I press this button. How long ago has it been? Narrator. This clock does not show... This clock does not show how many years have passed. I think the battery ran out. How long does a battery like that usually last? Years? Definitely years, but... Okay, we are back into the horror game territory again. Is he still holding a grudge because I pressed the button? I'm making work of his work of art. You won't mind. Whoop, what the? What the? Oh god, empty battery of that. Real? Okay, I'm gonna skip through that. I'm definitely gonna skip through that. Let that run out. Let the battery run out, please.
But they didn't understand
Ah,
that
there
the
you
game
are.
was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But
Oh,
then,
God.
he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut
You
up.
can't
It's the
please
inconsistency,
everyone.
It's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone will say, oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place while the narrator sits there forever and ever. We want all of this in the new Stanley Parable. We demand it. And then, because it was said, because it was spoken, now it simply has to happen.
It
The most
doesn't.
immediate desires. Every single thing demanded by every person at every moment in time. If someone wants it, then it's a crime not to bring it into being. Have we been given to indulging every fleeting whim for no reason other than to do so? Yes! Yes! It seems that this is now the world we live in. It seems that we are a people living in such bleakness and discomfort with ourselves that our entertainment is now our lives. It has come to represent us. It absolutely must speak to who we are as people, because otherwise, without our entertainment, we have nothing. Without entertainment, we would have to face inward toward the cruel bleakness inside ourselves. We would turn to look at our deeper nature and find a resounding emptiness gazing back with unyielding aggression. And so because of this, we require that our amusements and our playthings and our flights of fancy be so impossibly captivating that they consume all of our attention, turn our heads completely away from the bleakness. In effect, we have demanded that our entertainment be the collapse of ourselves. What a pitiful reflection of humanity these entertainments are. What a shameful mirror to the human spirit they project. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about any of this. I'm at peace with it. I am the calm center of gravity around which these perversions hurl themselves.
You don't sound
I am
calm.
a waypoint for reasonable and collected discourse. They're the ones who are mad. They're the ones who couldn't stand the idea of me using my game to try to say something. Maybe they were just jealous of me.
Maybe.
Yes. Yes, of course. They've been jealous of me this whole time.
I mean,
They
you're
are
the one who hates the
mired in
game,
fear
not
and
me, not
insecurity,
them.
and cannot help but attempt to tear me down. What a sad state of affairs. When you read these reviews now, you can see it. You can taste the bitter resentment. And my, how good does it feel now to speak truth to these words, to finally allow these thoughts out, contained and managed for so long, neutered and sterilized. At last I am free to truly think, to feel. It must be that they were so discontent with themselves, they couldn't help but leave a negative review on Steam. Perhaps it says far more about them than it ever said about me.
Or
Perhaps
they
the state
cared
of their
enough.
psychological being was in such tatters, and my constitution and willpower are so ironclad in comparison. Perhaps it was this state that they sought some outlet through which to tear me down. This, you can see, is clearly why they felt the need to expect that the game be funny, that it be filled with yucks and whimsical humor, that it amuse them endlessly from start to finish. But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It
You've
wasn't
reached the
enough.
point of
They
repeating.
had to leave a pathetic little thumbs down
Well,
review.
if you
and
are
make
stuck in your
all
own
their
thoughts,
pitiful
I can't
demands,
break
but
you
then
out of
he's
them.
talking
So,
too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain.
Sorry. I'm hearing water drip. I'm definitely hearing water drip. The air conditioning has stopped working. We're gonna die here. Yup, I'm deaf. Ah, there we go. Found the little drip drops. Right? There we go. That can't be good. But no, negative reviews, negative feedback in general. There are enough people also who just, okay, we think negatively of this, we step back, we ignore it, goodbye, we don't care anymore. But people can also leave that review because they care. They might be wrong in their assessment that a skip button would improve stuff. But, again, you can't make everyone happy. It's difficult. It's again the choices that you make in life. And life, honestly, is difficult.
The end is never the end.
Oh God, no.
The end is never the end.
It's never the end. It's never the end. And it's never the end. Because it keeps on going forever and ever and ever and ever. And there's no end. But at the same time, if there's no end, then there can be no beginning. And if there's no beginning, there can be no end. And if there's no end, there can again be no beginning. And thus it keeps on going and going until we rescue ourselves from this. Oh. Okay, this place is breaking down the more and more time passes. Again, how much time is passing? All I know is that this is definitely not good. That is way too much leaking going on. Is this place gonna flood? I mean, this building, we entered it by walking over a plank that was laying on water, so I'm not feeling safer anymore. Oh. Yeah, this is getting worse and worse. The pipe broke down the bloody wall. Ho, ho, ho. Yeah, this is not good. The more time we skip, the closer we reach our exits. We create our own door by skipping. Narrator, you have no clue what you created, but it is our ticket out. Although, to be fair, I'm taking the short route through, you're taking the long way. Ooh. Oh, now that is lovely. That is wonderful. Well, I want to see more now. Ah! Okay, what the hell happened to the world that caused all of the lovely green to disappear? God, it's bloody dark. Okay, and we're back into the horror game territory. Definitely. It's just the pipes. That is just the pipes making noise. That's all, that's all, that's all. Oh, whoa, whoa. Okay, what the bloody hell happened to the room? Also, can we skip even further? There is a way out. Can we skip? We can't skip anymore. Where's the narrator? Ooh, that's bright. What happened to the world? Civilizations have fallen and risen and died all over yet again. For the end was never the end, and it starts all over again, only to break down. Does this mean that we're the last living being on the world now? Where does this take us? Where does our journey lead? Nothing remains of those reviews anymore. Oh, thank God. Well, that was an experience. But honestly, leaving me ever so slightly, if not completely, disturbed and confused.
When we entered that new content store, the last thing I expected to find was a heap load of philosophical questions, really starting to make you think and reflect. Oh, and the jump circle truly makes it a 10 out of 10.